What's up, fam? Welcome back to the We Are Just Dating page. It's Tuesday, our favorite day of the week, because we have our very own question of the day. If you're new here, every Tuesday we answer anonymous questions that you can send to us in our bio or various other ways that you can just send us a question, and we would love to answer them. So, we got a question today. Hold on. It's a new year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. Hope y'all stay safe out here in these streets. All right.
We didn't tell them who we are.
Tell them who we are. My name is Tim. This is Pauline. It's a new year. I got to get readjusted.
It's okay.
You understand? But like I said, we got some great questions for today. What we got?
Well, we got one question for question of the day. And it reads, I am a single female, but interested in someone. How do I show interest while still allowing myself to be pursued? A lot of people reference Ruth, but Ruth had the cultural right at the time to have Boaz marry her. So practical tips would be helpful.
Good question. I feel like in the church, a lot of people talk about Ruth. I gotta find me a Boaz.
Yes.
Like, that's a big thing. And
Yes.
for those who don't know the Bible or anything like that, Ruth and Boaz are characters in the Bible.
Well,
They're real people, but the characters in the Bible who essentially, Ruth was a widow, Boaz was a rich man, essentially, and she found a way.
A cousin of her husband's family.
Yeah, very short version, they ended up together. Now, just for those who do know the Bible,
He redeemed the family.
just for those who do know the Bible, what she meant by the cultural times, how Boaz had the right, is because back in the Bible times, whoever was the closest relative to the man who died, so if the husband died and the wife was a widow, the closest person to him is technically responsible for marrying the widow. So that's what she meant by that. But my answer is short, because we want to hear from you, because you're the woman. You got your Boaz. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, you got your Boaz. So we want to hear from you. But I'll just say there's nothing wrong with making yourself available. That's not being thirsty. That's not even pursuing a man. So right. I'll say that. I do have some tips later in the video I'll share for just singles. But what you got to say?
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of people have this question. A lot of women have this question, especially if you were in the church, like, how do I meet a guy? How do I kind of make myself available? I want to date. This is something I'm praying for. I want to be married. How do I kind of make sure my practical movements or interactions with men, like match my prayers? And those are obviously really good questions. You're not alone at all. I mean, we're going to start big and go small. And for those of you guys who don't know me well, I think in analogies. So I'm going to share an analogy, because one part of this question that stands out to me is the main question is, how do I show interest while still allowing myself to be pursued? And those are not the same thing. So it's kind of like, you can show interest while being pursued. They honestly should be happening at the same time, or one comes before the other, or vice versa. So a lot of women think like, oh, I have to kind of be hidden, and I have to like stay in my room all day and pray, and then the Lord will bring my husband. And like, sure, maybe that happens to some people, but most women I know, myself included, met their husbands when they were serving at the church, working, going to the gym, something. They were out in the community. Like some people do marry their high school sweethearts or marry somebody that they knew growing up. But again,
we dated while I was in college. So
right, but I wasn't in college.
My college sweetheart. How'd that feel?
I don't know. You'd have to share, because that's not the case for me. But he loves saying that. But anyway, so that's kind of the context that we're coming from. So if that's you, or you identify with the person who asked that question, I want to kind of debunk some myths, because I do also want to, address culturally, us as women, we do not often see a healthy example of how a man pursues a woman in a godly way. We have all seen how men pursue women's bodies and pursue women for sex. But of course, that's not what we're going for. That's not what we're looking to be married, not to have, one night stands and things like that. So you do have to approach it differently. But a lot of women, they don't know what it looks like. So I kind of want to paint a picture here for you guys, or for you women. So again, back to the analogies. Again, the two are not the same. So you can be pursuing, a man can be pursuing you, and you can be showing interest at the same time, and both should be happening. Like I said earlier, those things make it easier. If you're finding it hard for the opposite sex to pursue you, you're probably barking up the wrong tree. So the analogy that I want to share with you guys is when you're going shopping. A lot of women like shopping. Raise your hand if you like shopping and new clothes. Even some guys, of course. When you walk into a store, pre-COVID times, and sometimes even now, but when you walk into a store, you are showing interest in that store, right? By even walking in. If you're at a mall, there's hundreds of stores you could have went in. But say you walk into Zara or to H&M and you're looking for a sweater, right? You're looking for this specific type of sweater. In a good store with good customer service, a salesperson is going to approach you and say, "Hi, Tim, what are you looking for?"
They be annoying.
Sometimes
leave me alone.
They're supposed to be helpful, though.
I don't want to talk to nobody. I want to get my stuff.
So if that's you showing interest by you walking in the store, right? And the salesperson is pursuing you. They want to make a sale, right? They're making commission. If it's that type of store, I used to work in a retail store and we would make commission based off of our sales and who we sold to specifically. I would get the specific credit for that. So if a person's walking into a store, they're trying to buy a sweater and no salesman approaches them, that's bad customer service, right? And we've all been there. You walk into a store and the salesperson sometimes even make eye contact with you, and they act like you don't matter, as if like you're not the one keeping their store, afloat. But that's not the type of store that you want to be in, right? Because they're not treating you right. They're not giving you good customer service. A lot of times you walk out of stores like that simply because the customer service is not good. But if you are the person showing interest, you still showed them interest by walking into their store, even though that customer service wasn't good, and you probably walked out of there and you didn't buy anything. Versus when you go into a store that's high end, they give you coffee, they give you water while you're even shopping before you even buy anything, because that's them pursuing you. In a lot of ways, that's what dating should look like. So you showing up to church or to a coffee shop or to a friend's house or a party or to school or to work or wherever you are where you meet hopefully some godly men, you showing interest is you a lot of times saying hello, being friendly, looking nice, smelling good. These are some practical tips. Making sure you're taking care of yourself, that you're wearing clothes that complement your body and things like that. And I don't mean complimenting as in like highlighting. I mean not wearing like frumpy sweats, like wearing nice clothes. That's in a way, and you having friendly conversations, laughing, that's showing interest. But if the man is the salesman and he sees you being friendly and you being nice and he makes that eye contact with you, but he keeps it going, that's not the type of guy you want to be with, right? And I think a lot of us girls beat ourselves up because we go day in, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even years without us having encounters with guys where we feel like, there's interest being shown or we're not feeling like we're being pursued. A lot of times you're not the problem. It's the guy. That's good. The guy is the problem. You're shopping at the wrong stores. So I would encourage you, if you are doing those things, a practical tip of it is, of course, always talk to like your friends, especially if you have a brother or like a mentor, uncle, cousin, something like that. Some guys, you can tell them like, hey, like, what do you kind of think of me? And if they say, oh, you're a great catch, you're beautiful, you're very well spoken, you present yourself well, like, you're doing the basics. Because remember, you as a woman, you are the customer. Like, yes, of course, the man is making a decision down the road when you guys are already dating. But in the beginning, before a first date even happens, like, he should be pursuing you like a salesman does, as you are a customer walking into the store. So don't feel bad if you are giving your best and you're showing interest and laughing and being friendly. Guys love friendly girls. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to touch on that.
If you're a kind person and you laugh and you smile a lot, guys don't really need a lot. If you smile a lot and you're kind, most guys, if they are, in a place where they're looking for a wife or they're looking to start dating, you'll be okay. And if you are doing those things and they aren't coming after you, it's probably because simply they aren't interested in you, and you don't want to date somebody who's not interested in you. So let that guy go. Yeah,
I like the point about like taking the pressure off of you. Yeah. Where it's like, if they're not interested, they're not interested. That has nothing to do with you. That's just on
just them. Like you're not interested in every guy that you come across, even though he's a nice guy. But
yeah, that's good. So I just want to give 3 tips. I know you got something else you want to share too, but just 3 tips on for single people who are waiting. Like, what should that look like? I'll say the first thing is this: don't make dating your idol. I know a lot of people, they want to date so bad, they want to be in a relationship so bad that it starts getting into a place where it may become an idol in your life. And I found for myself that God is never going to give me anything that I want more than him, or that could potentially lead me to wanting more than him. So once I get something and I start spending all my time on that thing instead of spending time with God, then that's an issue. Mm-hmm. Why would God do that for me? So just make sure you don't make it an idol, because then God start blocking. You won't see no men.
Because it wouldn't be good for you.
Yeah, so
God knows that.
That'll be bad. Second thing is this: look good and be friendly. Pauline talked about this, but don't try to become someone you're not. And like, there's two extremes with this when we come to looking good, because some people, they'll go all out of their way and get surgeries and start doing different things, wearing revealing clothes, trying to get attention that way to look good. Yeah. And then there's some people who don't care at all about looking good.
They don't try.
And they don't try, and their breath stink, and they wonder why nobody likes them.
Shower every day.
Yeah, so look good. We're not talking about looking crazy out here, but just look good and then be friendly. Like Pauline said, it goes a long way with a smile and just having good conversation. You know, the Bible talks about for friends, like to make friends, you got to show yourself friendly. Yeah. And the same thing is going to happen with a guy. He doesn't, most guys I know, they don't want you to pursue them. But they do want to know they at least got a chance if they come talk to you.
Right.
And if you never smile, you never give any hints.
Don't be a mean girl.
Yeah, if you're mean girls, it's tough, man, because guys are humans, right? We forget that. It takes a lot for a guy to come up to a woman.
For them.
Like, it's not some little easy task, like, because there's rejection on the other side potentially. So if I know I got a chance, that gives me more confidence to move forward and do that. And you do that by being friendly. Yeah. And then the last thing I'll say is this: put yourself in the right environment. You're not going to meet anybody sitting on your couch at home. But it's COVID. Yes, I know that makes it hard. But y'all got the same Instagram I got. And I saw everybody and their mama getting engaged these past few months. So somebody's doing it. So, you know, if you're living in a place where things are actually open, you can go out. Just make sure you're in environments with mixed gender. And shoot, I heard on Clubhouse, they got people who got shoot your shot rooms. So there's ways to make sure you're in environments with other men if you're looking for that as a woman, or women if you're a man looking. So just know there are ways, if you want it bad enough, just making sure you're putting yourself in those environments. And then was there something else you wanted to share?
The last thing I just wanted to share is, if you're doing all these things as a woman, believe the man's response. A lot of times as women, we, you know, are in places where we're like, oh my gosh, like, I did all of this, but he didn't, you know, respond to me or text me back, or he still didn't ask me out. What am I doing wrong? Sis, it's not you. It's him. And a lot of guys get bad reputations because girls are disappointed in how guys respond. It's okay if he's not interested in you. You only need one man to marry. You don't need a whole rack of guys who are interested in you. You just need one that will click. You know, eventually, hopefully that'll be the person you marry. But so just believe his response. A lot of times girls will double text, triple text, chase after men who are not showing them interest. If you have to chase after a guy, that is not the one for you,
because he don't want you,
right? And you cannot force a man to stay. They're not designed to do that. And even if you're in a relationship right now listening to this and your boyfriend has cheated on you, don't force, you know, like, that should be a sign to you that he doesn't have what it takes to be with you. When a man wants to be with a woman, he will do whatever it takes to pursue her and to keep her. And if that's not the situation that you're in, that's because it's not the person that you're supposed to be in. For ladies, it's a lot. The process of being pursued is so easy. You just sit and you laugh and you say, yes, I'd love to go to dinner, and, you know, that's it. But it's not really supposed to be hard. So you should not be sitting there racking your brain trying to figure out how to manipulate this guy and get him to ask you out. So believe his response, and if there's no response, take that as on to the next.
Yeah. Well, that has been Question of the Day. We love getting your questions. Make sure you put it in our bio above, and we will answer it as soon as we can. But we love y'all. We'll see you next Tuesday for Question of the Day.